Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Akshay and today we are going to learn about one of the simplest algorithms, bubble sort. We will not only understand how it works step by step but also write the code for it together. I'll be drawing and explaining everything on my tablet, so grab your notebook and let's get started. So what is basically bubble sort? It starts with the basic. Bubble sort is a simple sorting algorithm that repeatedly steps through the list, compares adjacent elements, and swaps them if they are in the wrong order. This process is repeated until the list is sorted. The name bubble sort comes from the way larger elements bubble up to the top of the list in each pass. Although it is not the most efficient for large datasets, bubble sort is perfect for learning the basics of sorting because it's easy to understand and visualize. So, let me help you visualize how bubble sort works. So, let's say we take a list of some numbers. Array of some numbers. So, here we say like we have 5, 3, 8, 6, and 2. So start from the beginning and compare the first two elements. If the first is larger than the second, then swap them. So here we can see that 5 is greater than 3. So we will swap them. Okay. So this is how our array will look like after our first swap. So moving to our next comparison, we will compare 5 and 8. So we can see over here the comparison is like true, 5 is lesser than 8, so no swap. After that, we will compare 8 and 6. So yes, 8 is greater than 6, so we will swap it. So our array will look like this. After that, we will compare 8 and 2. We can see over here that 8 is greater than 2, so it needs a swap. So 3, 5, 6, 8, 8, yeah, 2 and okay. So this is how our first loop iteration will go for the value of I equal to 1, which I will demonstrate later in this further in this video with the proper code. Okay, so this process will again continue, and instead of this list, now we will have 3, 5, 6, 8, 2, 6, 2, and 8. And these steps will again follow over here. So let's start. I will show you how this works, how we will implement it via code, so we can get a better understanding of how it works. So let me erase all of this stuff. Okay, so let's begin with our code. So I will show a pseudocode written in Java. So I will show you this. So let's say for int I equals 1, I is less than our array dot length, and function will tell us the length of the array minus 1 I plus plus. This is our first loop. Okay, now we will go to our second loop. In j equals 1, j is less than arr dot length minus 1 minus I, and in the end we will have j plus plus. Okay, okay. So moving further, we'll have above comparison of ARR J is greater than ARR J plus 1. Okay, so we will now do the swapping. If our previous element is greater than our next element, we will swap it. And T is equals to ARR J. ARR J is equals to ARR J plus 1, and ARR J plus 1 equals E. Okay, so this is how our code for bubble sort will look like. I hope you got what I'm trying to tell you. So now let's begin how this code will help us in sorting the elements. Let me show you with an example. So let's say we are having an array of elements. Uh, let's say let's take the same array which we have taken earlier. So we have three. Sorry, let's take from the beginning. Five, three, eight, six, and two. All right. So this is how our array will look like. So I guess it's not visible over here. So let me rewrite it again. So we are having our array like this. I guess it's visible right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here it is. So we have our array of 5, 3, 6, 8, and 2. Okay. So what this loop, this one loop, this loop, what this loop will cover our whole array. Okay. It will do the restart thing whenever first loop is completed of swapping the elements till the end of or we can say bringing the first element. If our first element is biggest of the array, then the inner loop will do the swapping part, swap it with every element present after it, and will bring it to the end. And after it has reached to the end, this loop, this first loop, will take us to the first position, will take us to the beginning of the array where our smallest other small element is present. Okay, so let me show you with an example. Sorry, this should be zero. Okay, so we have this array of now. Let me do the indexing part. 3 and 4. Our array length is 5 over here. Okay, so whenever I value is zero. Okay, whenever I value is zero, and then we will go to the inner loop. Our outer loop value is I is equals to 0, and our inner loop value will be j is equals to 0. So for value j is equals to 0, we will do the comparison if ARR 0 is greater than ARR 1. So over here we can see 5 is greater than 3. Condition is true. So we will do the swapping of 5 and 3 based on the positions. Okay, so this is important. So what you can see over here is, let me check it. Okay, over here we are doing the swapping part. Okay, so this is here where we are performing the swapping part. So our t variable, we will store the value of our j zeroth position element in variable t, and after that we will change the value of zeroth element to its next element, and the next element value will be swapped with the value which we have stored in t. Okay, so it will be ARR0, which is basically 5, and ARR0 is equals to ARR1, which is 3, and ARR1 will be T, which will become 5. So in this way, the swap has been performed, and now what our array will look like is 3, 5, 6, 8, and 2. Okay, so moving further to our next loop. So we have done this thing. After that, we will increment the value of the loop will increment the value of j, and for j is equals to 1, we will see ARR of 1 is greater than ARR of 2. Okay, so over here we can see 5 greater than 6. Condition false. So no execution. Our loop will go on. For value of j is equals to 2, we will have, and let me do the indexing again. 3, 4. Okay. For the value j equals 2. So is 6 greater than 8? false. Again increment for value of g is equals to 3. The value of g equal to 3 is 8 greater than 2. Sorry, I'm putting wrong. It is, yeah, okay. Yeah, is 8 greater than 2? 2, yes. It, the condition is true. So we need to swap these two elements. So the swap will be performed. T will become, T will store the value, and ARR of 3 will get the value 2, and ARR of value uh, 4 will get the value of 8. And in this way, what our array will look like is, mm, let me show it over here. What our array will look like is 3, 5, 6, 2, 8. So the inner loop has completed its execution part. Now, since our largest element of the array has reached the endpoint, we don't need to compare it with any other elements present before it. So what we will, that is the reason we are having the inner loop limit, end limit, j is less than n minus 1 minus I. Okay. Since we have in the first loop, we have compared only first element. Okay. So our I will be 0. Our total elements are 5. So 5 minus 1 minus 0, it's 4. So now it will not compare this 8 with anyone. It will now only do the comparison in these four elements, and 8 will not be checked again. So further, moving further, for the value of I equals to 1, we will have j is equals to 0. And so ARR, again the same thing, ARR 0 is greater than ARR 1, which is false. 3 is greater than 5, false. J is equals to 1, ARR of 1 is greater than ARR of 2. Is it true? 5 is greater than 6. False again. And for j is equals to 2, ARR of 2 is greater than ARR of 3. Yes, 6 is greater than true. Condition satisfied. Okay. So the condition is true. The swap will be performed and our array will look like 3, 5, 2, 6, and 8. Our I value will again increment and it will become I is equals to 2. And for now, since our I value is 2, so see the change. Our inner loop will execute now how many times? See this. So our value of j is now n minus 1 minus I. Okay. So 5 minus 1 minus 2. So it 5 minus 1 minus 2, it will give us 2. Means it will now not check these two elements because these two elements have reached their final position and now these two elements won't be further compared with anyone. So we will perform now the comparison for only these three elements. Okay. So now for the value of I is equals to 2, j is equals to 0, is 3 greater than 5, false, j equals to 1, is 5 greater than 2. Yeah, that is uh, true. So we will do the swap and now our array will look like 3, 2, 5, and 6, and 8. Okay. Now moving further for I value 3. Now the comparison will be performed based on these two variables. These two variables. And these three won't be compared. Okay. So yeah, now moving further, performing the comparisons is for j is equals to 0 is 3 greater than 2. Yes, it's true. So condition satisfied, perform these swaps, and our final array will look like 2 comma 3, 5, 6, and 8. So that's how the bubble sort performs the operation of sorting our array. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned how the bubble sort works and performs the sorting for us. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, do share, like, and subscribe.